Hey guys, it's Isa with Journey to Programming. Let's talk about why you're struggling to pass the whiteboarding code interview rounds for your job interviews. So, number one, if you are not practicing your coding interview skills prior to doing your interviews, then you are going to struggle no matter the case. Now, there are a lot of tools out there that you should be utilizing. LeetCode is one of the primary ones out there. Project Euler offers a lot of questions you could try answering. Cracking the Coding Interview, a book you can buy off Amazon or go to your local bookstore, although during quarantine that's going to be hard to do. That's a staple. And there's a ton of other online resources and YouTube videos just like this one that you're watching right now that will help you figure out how to solve it. All right? If you're not utilizing those resources, then you are not preparing yourself for the interview process. The interview coding rounds or the whiteboard sessions you face are a standard across the industry. If you happen to get lucky and find a company that does not do a coding interview, then you are finding a one-off company in the current market. Now, I know I've had experience with a few companies who did not test me using the standard coding problems out there, but they were in the DoD world, or they were small companies that did not follow the general practice of having you do like a interview online where you're screen sharing while answering a technical coding question. And then they also did not do the in-person whiteboarding sessions where you go on site and you do like 4 to 6 rounds in a day, and maybe 3 to 5 of those will be whiteboarding sessions. Okay? So you should prepare for the coding interviews as though you're always going to get one. If you happen to not get one, then congrats. That's good for you. But the likelihood of you not getting one is very low. All right? So if you are not preparing for it, start preparing now. Remember, I said LeetCode is a website that is probably the standard for most kind of companies out there. And it's probably a standard that everyone's heard about. If you type in LeetCode in YouTube, you'll find tons of content. If you look it up in Google, it's the first thing that pops up. And then again, that's the name of it. Top Coder's another website. They're a little bit more of a competitive platform. Project Euler works well. And then there's another big one. I'll link them in the list below. But either way, check those out and prepare. Number two, okay. If you are feeling like you're just getting nowhere while practicing, because you've jumped on LeetCode and you've tried to prepare before, but you're just not able to solve the problems, then don't be afraid to continue trying or ask for help. All of us, when we start the competitive programming prep, or what I mean by competitive programming prep is doing coding problems like those on LeetCode and such. When we start doing that, we're usually not good. We don't think like that right off the top of our heads. We don't try to solve problems in that type of a situation where the problem statement is laid out the way they are. And that's usually not how our day-to-day job is. So it's completely understandable if you're not necessarily feeling great about how hard the questions are or how much difficulty you're having answering them. So one thing I'll tell you is you need to grind through that or seek some advice or help from a mentor or a peer who has gone through the process before. I've answered tons of those questions. I've taught a lot of my students about how to go about it. Then I've also mentored them and kind of been like a friend that they can ask questions of when they face challenges answering it. And one of the big ways I've found that encourages them to continue working on it is I've asked them to try teaching how to solve a problem like that they're facing on LeetCode. And what I mean is I've basically asked them to try one of the problems I know, but try to teach it to me. Try to solve it while teaching the entire problem to someone, because what that does is it changes your mindset. Okay, at first you jump on the platform and you're like, how do I answer this question? I don't really understand the problem statement. And you're just thinking in your mind, like you're just worried about, are you going to be able to solve the problem or not? And I've been there. It's not easy to interpret all these things. But if you change your mindset and you begin thinking, okay, it's a structured thing. There's a problem statement. They're looking for a specific solution that they're going to tell you, or you'll see it in the code signature. And then there is specific input parameters they're giving me. Then if you break these things down and you point them out like you're teaching it to somebody else, then it's going to really help you better understand and think about it in a different way, so you can start applying your knowledge and skills to actually solving the problem. And it's just a different method of solving the problems, okay? I'm just giving it as a hint or a tip. One good way to try that is try to solve the problem while recording yourself. It's a hard thing to do, okay? Recording yourself and watching yourself on a video is one of the most awkward things that most people do not enjoy doing. I've been through that. This is me doing a video here and posting it online. And trust me, there are some kind of anxiety. There's a little bit of anxiety and embarrassment and shyness that goes on with that process. But you get over it and you realize how helpful it is in allowing yourself to evaluate your ability to communicate, your ability to think or what you were thinking. And you get to critique and really check on what your brain or mind process was like during the actual recording. So jump back on the LEET code problems, or whatever problems you're doing, and try to record yourself. There's a lot of tools out there. You can use Open Broadcaster or OBS. I think Bandicam offers a screen recording service, Camtasia, and there's a whole bunch of other ones out there. OBS is free, so you can download it, and I think it's pretty simple to set up nowadays. So that's a great option to try to jump on the problem and record yourself answering it. All right. Now, if you're super stuck and you're just really down about it, then the hardest part is going to be jumping in and getting back into it. Okay, so let's jump into number 3, which is going to talk about that. So you've been trying and trying, and you've just not seen any success. You're not getting better at answering these problems. What I really suggest you do is try to work through one of the problems, a simple, easy one, while watching people do it online or looking at other people's solutions. You don't want to do this forever because it's not going to help you understand how to break down the problems yourself. But what you really want to take away from this experience that you're going to do by watching others and looking at their solutions, you're trying to take away the way they break down the problem into bite-sized pieces that you can take and create a solution around, okay? The hardest part about being a developer is understanding the problem statement, or what a client or your team or customer, your manager, what they want, and being able to turn that desire or that request into something that's feasible to develop. All right, so you want to take a request or a problem statement, break it down into bite-sized pieces. They don't have to be extravagant solutions or extravagant answers to those little bite-sized problems, but you're going to break into little things that you can manage, and then you're going to solve the little bits and pieces one by one. All right. Do not stress about creating an efficient solution if you are in this situation where you're just struggling and you're trying to get through it. Make a bad solution. Solve it with a suboptimal solution and then improve later. Get better at just breaking things down and solving it, even if it's a grind, and then move on. And then move on. Do another problem. Move on. Try to solve those easy ones with help. And then after you've done a few, you've gained a little confidence, go back and do it yourself. Solve it without worrying about its optimization or efficiency. Solve it, get it to pass the checks, and then move to the next one. Gain some confidence. And then once you've gotten used to it, and you've done a whole bunch of easy problems, and you're getting confident that you can do it without help all the time, move up. Move up to doing a little bit of the more challenging, easy problems on LeetCode, which have lower percentage of acceptances, or move on to those medium problems, and just keep grinding. Don't be put down by it, but it is a critical thing for you to practice. If you are not practicing your technical coding skills, you are not going to make it through a lot of these interviews, and that's going to be very disheartening. I don't want to see you guys fail. I don't want to see you guys get down for not getting a job because you're failing the tech interviews. I want you guys to pass. I want you to succeed. I've gone through it. I've been denied tons of times in the past, and I've also seen successes, and those are great, and I want to share those with you guys, and I want you to be able to share them with me and everyone else. So please take these little tips here, practice, ask questions when you need, and then keep going. Again, this is the Eastwood Journey Program. If you have not subscribed, please do down below, and we'll see you next time.